Donald Trump is not even president yet, and already Hamas is calling for an end of the war. And in New York, they're already starting to deport illegal immigrants. Now, I'm assuming the reality is they've always been to some degree, but largely no. So I want to say before we get started, maybe the video I'm going to show you is just sometimes they do actually deport. But considering you had these gang members, I don't know, firing guns in Times Square, I'm going to go ahead and say it's probably true. With Trump getting elected, cops, ICE agents, they're basically just like, you ain't stopping us now. We're going to start doing our jobs. Out where we's at. We have some of the people who work here apparently have been saying, and I'm saying this because I don't know if it's confirmed, that a local chain of IHOPs were raided by ICE and they started arresting, detaining illegal immigrants and deporting them. Enforcement has begun. The game has changed. People are now saying, Trump is in. We have the mandate. We are putting an end to this. I'm going to show you a video first. But we got this article from the Post-Millennial. Eric Adams says the voters communicated loudly and clearly on immigration and wants the immigration system fixed. Take a look at this video. Donald Trump hasn't even taken office yet, and it's starting. NYPD removing illegal immigrants off the streets. Many New Yorkers have been making videos saying their streets are also being cleared of illegals. Here's a video. NYPD officers taking out illegal homeless from the street.
What happened, bro?
You can record, but you report from over there just so he doesn't get...
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
He's saying, what's happening? NYPD, they got a guy, they're detaining him. They're saying he's an illegal immigrant. We don't know for sure. We don't know for sure. All right, that's important. I don't know exactly if this guy's going to get deported. NYPD doesn't do deportations. Maybe they'll pass him off to ICE. But this is the narrative that's emerging. It may just be wishful thinking, my friends. But, you know, we talked to Myron Gaines the other day, and he was a Fed. He was saying it's clear, dude. It is clear that under Donald Trump, you could do your job. You could get these people out. You'd arrest the criminals. You'd arrest the illegal immigrants who committed crimes entering the country. You get them deported. Under Biden, they're getting work permits, free passes. And you want to know what's really freaking me out? I had to call my bank, okay, and just do normal stuff. They didn't ask for my social security number. They asked for my tax identification number. That's the game, dude. TINs, they're called. Your social security number is technically a TIN, but that's basically for businesses and non-citizens. This is the game they've been playing. If you're not a citizen and you come here, they give you a tax identification number because you got to pay your taxes, right? Now, all of a sudden, when I call my bank, they say, please provide your TIN. Why don't, what? Oh, it's because there are people in this country who are not citizens who don't have a social security number, but can have bank accounts. They are eroding the structures of this country to allow people who are not citizens to function and operate as if they were. That breaks the law, and it's time to get it dealt with. That means if you're not a citizen, there are certain things you are not entitled to. Our money, our infrastructure, that's not how it goes. Post-Millennial reports. New York Mayor Eric Adams took questions from reporters on Tuesday and indicated that he could be on board with the incoming Trump administration's border control and mass deportation plans, even in the sanctuary city of Big Apple. The voters communicated loudly and clearly. We have a broken immigration system that needs to be fixed. Adams had previously said that the city would remain a sanctuary city, which would indicate that they would not comply with federal agents in removing illegal immigrants. Will you express concern about mass deportations in the city? He was asked. New York has essentially become a border city as illegal immigrants, refugees, and asylum seekers have flooded the city. Some 10,000 people were coming in last week. Let's roll clip.
And as you communicate with President-elect Trump and have communicated with him, will you express concern about mass deportations in the city?
My concern is one concern, and we keep tinkering around the edges. We keep having this philosophical conversation about it. The voters communicated loudly and clearly. We have a broken immigration system. It needs to be fixed. That's the only conversation I want. It's broken. It needs to be fixed. And New York City was devastated by that broken system. 220,000 migrants and asylum seekers have made their way here. No financial...
220,000 have made their way to New York City. That's crazy.
Assistance from the administration, I think was about $200 and something million with billions of dollars we had to pay for. I don't want to see that happen again. I don't want what's taking place in Chicago and Denver, Los Angeles,
Here.
Houston. I don't want to see it take place again. Let's fix our immigration system. Anything other than that, I'm not interested in that conversation. We have a broken system. I talked about this in 2022. Just as I talked about violence in 2021, and voters made this the top of their list.
Second.
The top of their list. When I was talking about
He's saying top of their list. First is economy, second was immigration.
everyone was being dismissive of me, and voters said, this is a problem. And if we don't have a conversation about fixing the system, everything else is just being philosophical and theoretical, and I'm just not going to engage in that. Let's fix the system.
To be clear, sir, are you saying leave people here alone, focus on the system, or are you not even engaging on what might happen in the city and just focus on the system fix? I understand.
Well, part of it is we need to either pick up the course. Cities should not be dealing with a national problem. We need to pick up the course. And there are those here, I've said this more than once, there are those here who are repeated offenders. We need to address that. You don't come to our city and our country and commit violence acts on innocent people.
This guy is basically going full MAGA. And, he got raided by the feds under the Biden administration. And a lot of people were saying that he's playing nice with Donald Trump because he's hoping Trump will make that all go away. Maybe it's political. Apparently people were saying that Eric Adams only got raided in New York. He's the mayor. I'm assuming everyone knew that. He only got raided because he was not playing ball with the Biden immigration plan. And when he said, no, we're not doing this, people are losing their minds, and I'm going to take responsibility for it, he gets investigated, he gets raided. I'll tell you what's really fishy is that there were people that just got hired. They're like not even longstanding politicians in New York, and they got raided by the feds too. So it looked like lawfare. This guy was not going to play ball with the deep state, so they said, we'll destroy you. And then someone else will become the mayor. He starts ponying to Donald Trump. Looks like he's hoping that Trump clears the path for him. Adams has been outspoken against the administration for their border failures and has repeatedly called for more aid to deal with the huge influx. The city conducted a pilot program to give illegal immigrant families staying in shelters debit cards with up to $350 per week. But once the pilot program ends, it will not be renewed or adopted. And so I'm going to say this too. Everybody was claiming that this guy was anti-immigration. He had a resettlement program. He was giving thousands of dollars to non-citizens so they could permanently settle in New York City. He had food voucher programs. Nah, I don't know that I believe that he was just not playing ball with Biden. Maybe he wasn't playing ball as hard enough, but it's not like he was anti-immigration. He was helping these people. Adams brought up his previous rebuke of the Biden-Harris administration for their border failure, saying that he talked at the beginning of 2021 and 22 and afterward. He was later part of a group of mayors who sought an audience with President Biden to discuss these huge problems. Excuse me. But on his way to D.C., he was forced to turn around after the home of one of his officials was raided by the FBI over allegations of illegal foreign donation. And we say BS, dude. It was like $100,000 in combined gifts or something. BS. As the border problems, because you can look at Hunter Biden, and they did not care about his foreign business dealings. As the border problems deepened under Biden, some red state governors, such as Greg Abbott, began busing illegal immigrants to New York. Indeed. The reporter asked further about his thoughts on how to deal with the reality of the city, not just the federal problem. To that, Adams replied, the city should not be dealing with a national problem. There are those who are repeated offenders. We need to address that. You don't come to our city and our country and commit violent acts on innocent people. How about this one? How about Tren de Aragua taking over apartment complexes in several different cities right now? I'm going to need our liberal friends to comment and explain this to me. But you know what I see? I see these liberals writing. It's just fake. I see these news outlets because I read the news every day. These liberals are writing everything Trump claimed about immigration, prices. It's all fake. It's not true. Don't believe him. They don't offer any evidence. They just say it was debunked. And then you say, okay, how? And they go, we debunked it. I understand you're saying that, but what did you do? Did you investigate? No. You did nothing? That's right. Whenever it comes to these big stories, Trump will say something like, here's one of my favorites, that FEMA was skipping over Republican areas after Hurricane Helene. And they went, Trump made that up, debunked. And you say, okay, how do you know that? Did you investigate? I understand you can ask Trump for evidence. You can say Trump hasn't provided evidence. Fine. How'd you debunk it? They go, because we did. That's it. We did. We said it's debunked, so it is. Turns out a FEMA employee said it was widespread that they were being instructed to skip over houses with Trump signs on them. How about them apples? It's a different circumstance. That was Hurricane Milton, not Hurricane Helene. But the fired employee said, no, they were doing it across the board. So it likely was affecting those areas as well. So is it rebunked? Yeah, they're lying. What I can say now, Donald Trump's not even in, and the action is starting to happen. So let's go. Smash that like button, share the show with everyone you know. Become a member at timcast.com. Next segment will be Timcast IRL, 8 p.m. Check it out. We'll see you all then.